What is going on, guys? RangoVidsManga 12 here. How are you all doing today? We've got another issue here, Ultimate Spider-Man issue 30, and you guys are probably wondering, how is Spider-Man going to get out of this predicament that he found himself in at the end of the previous issue? Well, I'm afraid it's time to find out, so let's jump into it, and let's go! The issue picks up right from where the previous issue left off, with Spider-Man lying on the ground with a bullet wound in his left shoulder. The police still aiming the weapons at him. They pick him up and arrest him, and of course they don't take their time. They aren't very careful with it because they are pretty much ripping his arm off and seriously do not care about whether Spider-Man's shoulder is hurting or not, but they're being pretty brutal about it. So Spider-Man gives a huge kick to one of the police officers and actually escapes. And what is awesome is just how he runs up the wall with his arms tied behind his back. And you can even see one of the police officers are actually quite stunned by this. And he even says that is amazing that he's actually taken a bullet and he can still do all of this crazy stuff. But Spider-Man actually ends up getting on top of the roof and he's feeling a little dizzy, but that doesn't stop him from breaking free from these handcuffs, and that part just looks incredible. Now Spider-Man is still bleeding out, he's still feeling dizzy, feels like he's going to pass out, but then of course the police do not hold back with trying to recapture him. But remember ages ago, I think it was in one of the early issues of Ultimate Spider-Man, where I mentioned that the characters in the Ultimate Universe actually have a little bit of common sense. Like in the 616 universe, characters won't actually click on that it's not the real Spider-Man causing these crimes, whereas this guy in the helicopter actually points out Spider-Man did say whilst he was on the wall before he got shot that he's there to help, and that police officer in the helicopter was trying to tell that to his teammate or whatever, and he was just not having it, he was not listening, and therefore had to shoot at Peter Parker again, well, Spider-Man again. So Spider-Man's hiding in a dumpster down an alleyway, trying to hide from the police, and I think he eventually passes out right there. But now we go back over to Mary Jane, and if you remember from the previous issue, Mary Jane and Peter actually had a fight because she was getting jealous of Gwen Stacy, and you can see that she's writing a diary. She's still having nightmares about the encounter from Norman Osborn, Green Goblin, and being thrown off the bridge, and of course that's going to be affecting her greatly in the future Ultimate Spider-Man comics. But right now Aunt May has just phoned Mary Jane asking where Peter is, and if you remember in the previous issue, Peter actually did say that he was going to Mary Jane's house, so that's why she's phoned Mary Jane, and she actually covers for him, and then she receives a call of Peter. And what I love about Mark Bagley's artwork is you can really see the fear in Mary Jane's face when he says help me on the phone. The artwork mixed with Brian Michael Bendis' writing really brings all the dialogue and the artwork together to create this awesome Ultimate Spider-Man comic, and you can just even see it now on Mary Jane's face. She's still in shock, she's still in fear of seeing what's happened to Peter. I mean, he's literally being shot, so what else could go wrong? She's probably realizing that one day Peter is probably going to die from being Spider-Man. And of course, I'm not going to reveal anything, but everybody knows what happens in Ultimate Spider-Man issue 160. Now, moving on throughout the comic, Peter has to find a way to get to the hospital without being exposed as Spider-Man, and of course without being arrested. So Mary Jane actually has an idea for Peter to walk straight into the hospital with a bullet in his shoulder and literally just faint. Now, I'm not sure whether Peter actually faints or whether he's just faking it, but either way, he literally passes out at the perfect time. And the bad thing about going to the hospital when you're a superhero, when you're a wanted vigilante, is the fact that people ask questions at a hospital. They want to know how you got shot, they want to know where your ID is and everything like that. And that is when a bunch of police officers actually come around. And in case any of you guys want to know how old Peter is in the Ultimate Universe, it's actually confirmed right there saying that he's 15 years old. And I've actually told you that before in early Ultimate Spider-Man comics, but in case you forgot or in case you're only just joining us, now you know. But as you can see, these police officers are actually looking for Peter, and when they pull the curtain, he's gone. And as we know, he's actually climbed up into the ceiling vents and he's making an escape as we speak, because if these guys get a hold of him, then they're pretty much going to arrest him and they're going to blame him for the crimes that he's committed, even though it's not him that's committed them. And of course, mainly because he's Spider-Man and he's a wanted vigilante now, well, yeah, he'd be going to jail for a very, very long time. And not only that, but if he did go to jail, he'd be going to jail with the people that he helped put in jail. So he wouldn't be the most popular person in prison, would he? Because basically every single villain that he's ever fought would be in there, and they would probably want to kill him, so yeah. Anyway, so Mary Jane makes a sprint out of there before these police officers get a hold of her, and she disappears as they run around the corner. And that is because Spider-Man, well, Peter actually picked her up as she ran outside, and they made their way to the roof The next thing Peter needs to do is get home before Aunt May actually finds out that he's been out late, and of course that means he's going to get grounded again and everything. So he's got to get home as fast as he can, and I just love Mary Jane's face. You can see just how happy she is that Peter's actually okay, and you can see that she really loves him. But that's going to take a bit of a turn in the next issue, or the issue after that, I can't quite remember. Going over to Aunt May, who's fallen asleep on the couch watching TV, she actually wakes up to find Peter in bed, fast asleep. And of course that's just good news for her, because that means that she doesn't have to ground him, that means that she knows he's safe. And of course what she doesn't know is that under that quilt he's actually lying there with a bullet wound, bleeding probably, and she has no idea. But once Aunt May walks away, Peter opens his eyes and turns on the TV to see a news broadcast of pretty much a warrant for his arrest. They still believe that it was in fact him, the real Spider-Man, that robbed the bank. They don't actually know that it's a fake Spider-Man robbing the bank right now. And this Sergeant Bullet is talking about how Spider-Man is going to get what's coming to him, and eventually they will take him down. And of course, guys, that is where the issue leaves us. That is where it ends. But if you want any motivation to come back and see the next issue, let's just say that there is a huge event that happens in the next issue. And of course it's to do with Gwen Stacy, Captain George Stacy, and Peter and Mary Jane. So keep an eye out for that, because it's one of the major issues of the Ultimate Spider-Man universe so far, and it's going to be awesome. So guys, what did you think of this issue? Let me know in the comment section below. I'm going to give this issue a 9 out of 10. I don't know why, but I'm literally just locked on 9 out of 10s on Ultimate Spider-Man comics. Anything lower wouldn't seem like a good enough score for me, but the entire issue just with Mary Jane coming to Peter's rescue, Peter managing to be able to get into hospital, sorting out his bullet wound, and managing to escape the police all in one issue, and also managing to get home without Aunt May finding out, just tops it all off. So guys, let me know what you thought in the comment section below. Go to the links in the description to follow me on Twitter and Facebook for all the comic book news updates, and of course to hear when my videos are being edited and uploaded. Also, if you want to know what I'm doing in my free time when I'm not editing videos, then go to the links in the description and follow me on Instagram for that. If you follow me on Instagram, then you'll be able to see the comics I pick up every week. Recently I did the Civil War variants. I haven't really done many recent comic pickups. Yeah, I'll start updating those. But guys, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button for more, and I will see you all in my next video.